Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of the Block Report, hosted by your boy, your man, your king, Flashy Silla. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode with Rambo is talking, co-hosting with me. And this week, it's a bit of a quiet week in the world of rap music, man, even in terms of the music that's released. But you know what? We're going to make it work. We're going to talk about the J Hus Mercury Prize, and we're going to talk about who's coming up with releases soon in the month of August, man. Let's talk about it. Bow. Alright, so kicking off this week's hot topic, man, is J Hus is nominated for the lucrative Mercury Prize award. Now, for those who don't know what a Mercury Prize is, it's the most lucrative prize you can win as an artist in the UK. It's like our version of the Grammys, but it's a lot more exclusive, do you know what I mean? When you win the Mercury, it's like you're up there with the best albums that have come out of this country, do you know what I mean? And obviously in our scene, the ones to have won it already are Miss Dynamite, Dizzy Rascal, Skepta, Dave, and most recently Little Sims, yeah? So you know the caliber of artists that have been nominated and that have won it from our scene. So, boom. He's been nominated alongside Loyal Kana and Ray. Obviously, I'm only mentioning them because they live in the world of rap and around it, innit? But there's one person that got snubbed, and I think that's Potter Paper. I think Potter Paper's lyrical ability on his latest album, Real Back in Style, and the production on it was just as good on that than J Hus's was on Beautiful and Brutal Yard, the album that he got nominated for. But one thing I want to talk about though is Potter Paper's inability to not write and create catchy songs. I think that's what holds him back a bit. So obviously it all depends on what you prefer. For me, someone like me, I always prefer the bars thing, do you know what I mean? I like lyrical ability. I'm not really here for catchy hooks and a club vibe when I'm listening to, let's say, hip-hop albums or rap albums. But for this one right here, I think he did get snubbed, man. I think he was storytelling was just as good as J Hus was doing on Beautiful and Brutal Yard. I think the production was even better too. He even had the likes of Harry Fraud on there, do you know what I mean? With my favourite track on there, Track Floor Kane. So let's talk about it. Did Potter Paper get snubbed for the Mercury Prize award? And is it maybe because he's even in prison? That's bad press in itself. Let's talk about it, man, because can't lie, it's a discussion worth having. Now, alright, so rounding up this week's hot topics, Fredo has announced that he's dropping a new project called Unfinished Business, dropping in August. Giggs is also dropping a new album in August 18th called Zero Tolerance. Digga D is also anticipating a new project in August, and Stormzy is planning to drop his rap album that same month. Not to mention that N-Dubs are also due to drop an album called Timeless, fitting to how the longevity of their careers, you know what I mean? But there's a few talking points here, and I want to start off with Fredo, and that's Fredo lacking an album that sticks in his career, innit? Obviously, this is his first project in 2 years. His last project was Independence Day. Kind of mid, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of Fredo's projects, they come and go, do you know what I mean? And I feel like he's a singles guy more than like a rapper that you go to for projects and albums, and where you're like, yo, he makes quality music that really sticks, do you know what I mean? But obviously some people are Fredo fans, they would oppose this. And Giggs dropping his album Zero Tolerance on August 18th. Of course, we see Giggs out in America with the likes of Diddy and the likes of DJ Khaled, man. I think there's a different feeling for this Giggs album. Digga D, his mixtape, I think it's time that Digga D drops a new project. Of course, with that new 2000s G-Unit kind of sound that he's been running with as well. So I think that's highly anticipated, but Digga D's a bit unpredictable. One day he'll give us drill, the next he'll give us mid-2000s G-Unit rap, and then the next thing it's like, I don't know, do you know what I mean? He'll give us a tune with RD again, you get it? And Stormzy dropping his rap album. I mean, that new joint that dropped with Ray, that was cold, do you know what I mean? As you saw it on last week's Hot Picks. And N-Dubs dropping their album, Timeless, which is fitting to their career, innit? And the discussion that me and Rambo had last week, there was a slight discourse online about that. Me talking about N-Dubs versus DBE, who's the bigger group, and by a landslide, in my opinion, I think N-Dubs in it, because the #1 albums, the #1 singles. But let's give DB time. Let's let them cook, because we don't know what the future holds. We don't know in 10 years whether they can be the end dubs that we're talking about now. All right, so that's the hot topics wrapped up. Now, alright, so kicking off this week's hot picks, we've got the boy Do Road with his Cold Room freestyle. And one thing I want to say about Do Road is that his flow is unmatched. You can't replicate it. It's unorthodox, man. So let's go listen to that. Alright, so coming in at number 4, we've got the boy Unknown T with Free Slime / Sexy Girls featuring Lancey Foe. Now, if you ain't seen my interview with Complex UK with Unknown T out and rolling out Portugal, Unknown T announced that he's dropping a project just before Bonfire, and that he's experimenting with a couple other sounds. That's why he got the likes of Lancey on this track. So let's go listen to that. Alright, so coming in at number 3, we got the boy Len, Nico Bellic featuring Unknown T. Now, of course, Len just dropped his mixtape, his highly anticipated mixtape, Legoland. Worth a listen, man. I want you guys to go listen to that. So at number 2, we got the boy Keys the Prince, O'Shea, and that's his Colours performance, man. This one right here, I know it's going to take you back to 2016, 2017, Afro swingish, but it's rap, but it's chilled and whatnot. Gal can listen to it when they're doing their makeup, man. So let's go listen to that. Alright, so at number 1 this week, man, and it's a song that didn't even come out this week. It came out the week before, but it's so good that I got to feature it as the number 1 hot pick this week. And that's Geordie featuring Louis Ray, Too Much, man. Hey, this one right here, check out the video references, man. If you know Boo, if you know your shit, you know your rap and R&B, you'll know all of the video references in this track, man. And apart from that, the sound of this track is just, it'll take you back, man. It's a laid back thing, do you know what I mean? One you can put a one arm around or one John, you know what I mean? And just chill out and listen to it, man. So big up Geordie, man. If you ain't seen his Block Report interview, it's out now. It's actually available everywhere. But that's Geordie featuring Louis Ray, Too Much. That's the number 1 hot pick. Bow. Alright, cool. So that's the Block Report episode done for this week, man. As you could already tell, it's a bit of a quiet week in the world of rap music, but nonetheless, I got some shit that I got to report to you guys. So make sure you catch me here this time next week, and I've got one co-host with me as usual, but I ain't gonna tell you who. So make sure you're here next week, same time. Bow.